3, 2, 1.
Here we go!
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another SIP Warrior podcast with Quadzilla Karina
And Viking Josh.
So today we have a special guest. Welcome to the show. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Miss Sara.
Hi guys, I'm Sara Herse.
This is the wonderful Sara Herse, and she is also an amazing WBFF Pro, so she is my WBFF Pro sister.
That's right. Did we go pro at the same show?
Yes.
That's
Yes.
right.
Yes. We both did the same shows, both first shows.
Yeah.
'Cause that was my first
Yeah.
show. So that's actually where I met her for the first time, and then we actually just bumped again in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
It was amazing. So, Sara, thank you for joining us today. Welcome again to the SIP Warrior podcast. And I have been, how do you say it? Looking from the back and just being amazed at how much you have impacted the CrossFit community and just women generally. I mean, you are like #goals, you know? Yes, no, seriously. You're amazing. You're amazing. And her creativity on her reels, oh my God.
Oh, thank you.
Like, girl, you are so talented. So, please, share a little bit about us, about how you started.
Okay.
And, just kind of let everybody know, like, who Sara is.
Yeah, so as you brought up, I do a lot of different things. I guess I kind of started in the CrossFit community, like my intro into fitness. That was maybe 7 years ago. I got bit by the CrossFit bug, just got really into lifting and heavy lifting, became obsessed with it. So that's kind of where it all started. And
Real quick, heavy
Yeah.
lifting, guys.
Yes.
I'm going to ask. Sara, what is your PR, personal records, on your deadlift?
Oh, sure. So deadlifts, I've done 365 pounds.
Holy
Wow.
smokes.
Yes, but right now I am nursing a little bit of an injury and I'm not deadlifting, so it makes me very sad.
Listen, we've all been through them.
It's true. It's the worst.
Yeah. What about your squat?
The most I've ever squatted is 265.
That's impressive.
That's my weakest link, though.
No. Deadlift, are you kidding me? Hello. That's amazing, though. And what about bench press?
Bench, yeah, I've done 175.
Nice. That's awesome.
That's awesome. Do you power lift?
So yeah, I've done a handful of meets. It's been a couple years. I keep saying I'm going to do another one, and then something happens, or I prep and I get weak, and I'm like, nah. So next time I'm feeling healthy and strong, I will maybe do another powerlifting meet.
Cool. So, okay, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead. CrossFit
So
community.
take it back. So
Yes.
yeah, I got really into CrossFit, became obsessed, in fact. Then quit my corporate job and actually made like a whole career out of this. So started coaching CrossFit, and then kind of led into personal training, and then led into building my own business. Meanwhile, getting more into powerlifting and eventually bodybuilding, which was a few years ago. I actually started with the NPC and then switched over to WBFF. And so that's kind of been my latest obsession, is bodybuilding, but also building my fitness brand and all of that on top of it.
Yeah, so tell us about your brand.
Yeah, so I guess like I was saying, it started more as online coaching, but I have transitioned out of that. So I've actually completely shut down the coaching business to focus on my app. So I launched my own fitness app. I guess it's been maybe 3 months ago now. And that's it's a place where I put all of my programming. I even put recipes in there and nutrition guide and all these things. It's kind of my hub where I put all of my fitness stuff. And yeah, I really wanted to be able to reach more people. I don't know if you do any coaching, but one-on-one, it's like limited how much time you can actually give to other people. And I just felt like I wanted something new and something different. So that's why I started developing this app.
Yep. We actually have our own fitness app as well.
Okay.
Yep.
You just gave me a great idea. Recipes.
Yes.
Yes. That, thank you.
It's fun because when you're doing programming all the time, you're like, I just want to do something different.
Yeah, and you know what? We used to actually do meal prepping.
Okay.
We used to do meal prepping. How many years ago was that, hon?
3 years ago.
3 years ago, and it just got to the point where it was just too much. And we had the kids cooking. It was him cooking.
Nice.
We started Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was exhausting.
That's a lot.
It was.
Yeah, it was exhausting, and we had literally ran out of space.
Yeah, you were doing it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no. Well, we did, and we stopped, but the reason I bring that up is because, man, he makes some amazing food. And
it's probably all macro friendly too, right?
Yes.
And you know how to make it healthy. Yeah, people need that information.
I agree. And he's in the process, which is part of coming up with his own cookbook.
Amazing.
Yes, they've been on me constantly about right. So I have a notebook. Finally found it the other day where I would like in the middle of cooking, I would start jotting down all my recipes.
Nice.
And they were like, "You need to start writing all this down," because it was just usually off the top of my head where I would just cook, and they were like, "Oh my God, this is so good. What's in it?" And I'm like, "I don't remember."
It really slows you down to write the recipe, though.
It does.
So because you're used to just a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and suddenly it's like, okay, well, how much exactly of that, and then write it down. And if you weren't happy with it, and say you add more later, well, then you got to make a note of that. Like, no, we actually used half a cup of this. So, yeah, it becomes a very laborious process.
So he tells me, or I think the last time we talked about it, I'm supposed to walk around with him and follow him, but I'm just like, I don't have time.
I know.
That's the other thing. It's like we just need to get a video recorder going and just record everything while he's doing it. So I think that's what we're going to do, babe.
I know, we need to.
And then outsource like an assistant to like write it later.
Yes.
That would be a good idea.
So we have a really great assistant at home.
I know, right?
My son.
Oh, perfect. There you go.
Xavier, yeah. He's like the go-to guy for everything that we need. Just FYI, if you need anybody.
I'll hit him up.
I would tell him, Daddy, I was pimping you out. Okay, so back to your app. So you have training and you have recipes.
Yep, yeah. So I have both programs and then like one-off workouts, and it's been growing. So I started with a beginner program and then like a power building program, because that's very much, if I think of my brand, it's kind of that powerlifting meets bodybuilding or CrossFit meets bodybuilding. So that's actually my next program is CrossFit and bodybuilding. So I kind of like did power building, and I'm doing like, I don't know what I call it, CrossFit building. That's kind of my next one. I called it the aesthetic athlete, because it's very much like athletic style training. So like power cleans, jumping, plyometrics, stuff like that, but then still doing your bodybuilding stuff, because you have to do that if you want to build a physique. So
Yes.
finding ways to combine those. And then I've got beginner programs and ab workouts and all these one-off workouts for people that just want like, what am I going to do today? Open up the app. Okay, just pick a workout. You can do that today. 'Cause there's always those people that don't want to follow a program, and that's fine too. If you're working out, I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So at the end of the day, it's just making sure that they stay active.
Exactly.
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me, how long, you said that you've been doing this for about 7 years, right? Mm-hmm. So what was it that you think was the pivoting point where you're like, wow, this is like just running with it. Let's just run with it. What was it that did it for you?
Well, I guess the turning point to lifting, because before that, I was definitely into fitness. It's always hard to remember, like when I think back, I was going to the gym a lot, but doing like spin classes, Pilates, yoga, I did all of that stuff all the time. I think what pivoted for weights for me was just, I wanted to get results. I'm like a kind of a nerd. I like to research things. And like there was a point I was in grad school, and I had a really light load my last semester, and I was living in Paris, and I was like, I got this time off, I'm abroad, and I'm like, I want to do something like for myself. Like, what am I going to do to like really change my life before I go back to the corporate world? And I just started listening to a lot of fitness podcasts, and at the time this was like Ben Greenfield and Dave Asprey and all this like biohacking, and I just was like, I'm gonna biohack my body to perfection, and I became obsessed, and so did all.
It's a good obsession, though.
Yeah, and I learned so much during that period. I like could not get enough information. I just wanted to learn it all, and I really learned that like, okay, you're gonna have to lift weights. Like that's just if you want to change your body, you're gonna have to lift weights, and that's what really was the pivoting point for that for me, and then. I think once I started getting results and actually started getting stronger and putting on muscle, which happened, the first year you put on so much muscle, you're like, this is awesome. I think that's when the obsession just took off. I think after years of doing things that never got me results, when I actually saw that shift, I was like, okay, I'm hooked.
Isn't it crazy how it's just things that we don't want to do, which is lift up that heavy iron. Yes. That is what's going to give you the results.
Totally, 100%.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
I think the majority of our female clients, especially when they first come to us, I don't want to get too big. It's like,
if only.
I know, right?
Yeah.
The most now, it's almost you get tired of hearing it after a while. It's like, stop saying that. You're not eating for that body. You're not going to get that body. You don't. Yeah. You're not going that direction.
Yeah, it's so hard to put on muscle. It really takes a lot of effort.
Yeah, especially if you're not eating right, guys.
Yeah.
That's the key thing here. You got to keep that very, very detailed macronutrient diet to be able to see that growth of muscle.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of people always, you know, the ladies especially. What would you tell the ladies right now, just in regards to that particular question?
Like nutrition?
As far as
Nutrition
muscle.
and weights.
Yes.
It's like they're scared. If it's over 20 pounds, they're scared to touch it.
Yeah. No, I mean, you need both. You need to be fueling the performance as well. I think, like, when I started working with clients, one, the low calorie thing, but the low protein thing, I don't know what it is with women. Like, they don't eat very much protein.
No, they don't.
They don't like touching meat and cooking meat. And so they're just like, don't eat. And it's fine if you're a vegetarian, but then you got to go out of your way to get those vegetarian protein sources. And so that's what I tell them. Like, okay, if you really don't want meat, then what are you doing to get your protein outside of that? Because you're not getting anywhere close to what you need to put on muscle. Yep. So it takes that effort. You do need to put some thought into it if you're serious about putting on muscle.
Oh yeah, for sure. You just said something and my mind just went poof. It had to do with the weights and the protein. I was just talking to Adrian yesterday about this. We were having a conversation and it kind of dialed me back to when I was so-called eating healthy. And at that point, it was a salad with a big O avocado on the side and no protein.
Yeah, I used to do that too. Or I'd put like chickpeas on. I'm like, that's enough.
Yeah.
I'm like, chickpeas have like 5 grams of protein. Like, that's not enough, you know?
Oh my God, flashbacks.
Seriously.
Yeah, so ladies, okay, I'm looking at y'all. And if you're listening, I'm looking at y'all. You need to eat protein. Protein is going to be the source that's going to that's going to feed those muscle gains and that heavy training. You know, a lot of women and a lot of men don't want to pick up the heavy weights. And you know, I just from experience from clients as well, it's crazy because they're like, but I was pushing so hard. And I'll go back and I'll look at their records of, you know, their weightlifting and we're still on the same weight.
Yeah.
So guys, you got to challenge yourself and you got to push out the comfort zone, right?
Yeah. And that gets to progressive overload, right?
Yeah.
It's like, if you're still lifting the same weights you did 5 years ago, like, are you progressively overloading? Because if you are getting stronger, then you need to accommodate that strength and be increasing the weights over time. And that's a good sign that you're probably not doing something right if you're lifting literally the same weights.
I agree.
Years.
I always tell them, I said, the goal is to go in there and do better than you did last time.
Yeah.
That's simplest terms. Simplest terms. Yep. So, what else?
Carbs.
Yes.
That's like that was like the early 2000 fad that's still around. Like everybody's deathly afraid of carbs.
Yes.
Which is so confusing to me because when people ask me that, they're like, well, low fat, low carbs. I'm like, well, then what are you eating, air? Like, you know, all that leaves is protein. I know you're not eating very much protein, so you must be eating something.
Lettuce. Lots of lettuce.
Yeah. I think people just have in their head that carbs are bad, but they actually, like, they do eat carb sources. Vegetables are carb sources. And
fried.
Yeah. Yes.
Fried carbs.
And yeah, I mean, carbs are such a great source for muscle. And if you're trying to avoid them, you're doing yourself a disservice. Like, you're making your life harder if you're not eating carbs. Like, fat is not a preferred source for muscle growth. So yeah, especially in the CrossFit community, like with high intensity exercise, I mean, yeah, carbs are the way to go.
Yes, they are. Yes,
I think that's with any industry if you do it correct. I mean, even when it comes down to it, a lot of people, their body, their DNA, their digestive system works differently, but carbs is still going to be your source, and that's what a lot of people don't understand. It's like, you need to eat carbs. Stop cutting out carbs. We have a very good friend and client that is probably the strongest. He looks like a bodybuilder, and he just walks around like that year round, and he's on this super high fat, and I'm like, stop, eat some carbs, man, because he's like incredibly strong, ripped up. He could literally step on stage in 4 weeks, and he walks around year round. He's like, no, I need to eat more fats. I need to be in the ketosis state. I'm like, no, you don't, man, stop. And he's a runner at that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and so we're telling him, listen, man, you need to eat carbs. So we've been sneaking carbs in. Eat a little more of this, eat a little more of that. Now he's like getting stronger and leaner at the same time. Like,
yeah, it is so funny because we love this guy. He's an amazing guy. And one day I said, do you trust me or not? Like, you know, it just got to the point, it's like, you have to trust me. If you don't, we're not going anywhere. Yeah. So he's like, I do. I said, okay, just do this. And he keeps doing it. I was like, aren't we happy? Aren't we happy? How's that energy?
He's probably loving it, yeah.
Yes. It's like, you just, those carbs and protein.
Yeah.
It's a must, guys. It's a must. So thank you for emphasizing that. I really appreciate it.
And we didn't practice that.
No, we did not. As you know, this is unscripted. And I love it because you know how when you were a kid and your parent would tell you something so many times and then somebody else would come in and they're like, yeah, they just told me this amazing information. You're like, parents are looking at you like, I've been telling you this all along. Yeah. So concept there.
Yep.
Okay, so tell us, what was your... you said you were going to school and you were pursuing your career and you left your career behind. What was that?
Ooh, so I've had a couple careers now.
Okay, please share.
So my undergrad degree was actually in cinema studies. I went to NYU, so I lived in New York City, and then I worked in the fashion industry after that.
Wow.
So did that for, I guess, 4 or 5 years. I was at a photo agency, so I was managing fashion stylists, photographers, hair and makeup artists. Hated it. And so that's when I went back to school. So I wanted like a totally new life. I was like, I'm done with this. And so I went to get my graduate degree in business at Cornell. So I have my MBA. And then after that, I went into management consulting, which is like so different than anything I've ever done. It was incredibly intense, incredibly difficult, very like high stress, high paced job. And after 2 years, I was like so burnt out. And that's also like, to be fair, at that time, like my mind was on fitness. When you're just like, you're at this job, but like, you're like listening to Ben Greenfield or whatever. You're doing this, like your mind is not on your job at all. Like I got to that point by the end where I was like, this is not going to work out. And so I didn't know what I wanted to do in fitness. And actually, even after that job, I was like, for a while, I thought about transitioning to like a corporate strategy job, or I still wasn't sure, and I was like, I'm just gonna coach CrossFit in the meantime, like while I figure out my real job, you know, quote unquote. And then I like finally like let go of that like pressure, that expectation that because I had my MBA and this Ivy League degree, and like I need to go do something super professional. Like once I let go of that in my head, and I was like, so what if I'm coaching CrossFit? Like there's nothing wrong with that. And I really just like leaned into it, and then my life got better. I think resisting that and fighting that for so long was like made me really unhappy. And now, like even though I still don't know what I want to do in fitness, I'm still like so much happier just like exploring fitness and figuring out where I fit in this world.
That's awesome. To me, it sounds like you followed your passion.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go,
Yep.
guys.
Took me a while.
Prime example.
Yeah.
Prime example of that will just follow through, and you'll be happy. Look how happy she is. That is awesome. That is awesome. So you just got back from Africa.
Yes.
Please tell us how that went.
Oh, it's amazing. Have you guys ever been?
No.
Oh, you gotta go.
No. We want to.
Yeah. So I was in South Africa. We did Cape Town, and then we did a safari. So there's lots of parts of South Africa where you can do a safari. We were in the Sabi Sands, which is near Kruger National Park. This area was incredible for seeing wildlife. And that's kind of how the safari works. So you go out on 2 game drives a day, one at 5 a.m., one at 4 p.m., and you just look for wildlife, and it's incredible. Lions, elephants, giraffes, buffalo.
And their nature, huh?
Yeah, and their natural habitat.
Awesome.
So there's no like gates. It's not a zoo or anything like that. It's like this is their natural habitat, and you are in this open vehicle right next to them. I was like, this is like really what we're doing right now. Like we're this close to the lions. And they're like, it's fine. I'm like, okay. And it was, but it's scary. You're like your heart's kind of beating because you're like this close to a lion that just took down a giraffe. Like we saw a whole pride of lions eating a giraffe. And like, well, they're full, so I guess you shouldn't be worried. But I'm like, oh my God, they just took down this thing. Like they could take me down like that,
Wow.
But yeah, it's incredible. The whole trip was incredible.
That's cool.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that does. Our location, or on our to-do, oh my God, I can't even talk. The location that we want to visit is Greece, right?
Yeah,
That's
Greece.
on our bucket list. So, God willing, we'll be able to go and check that out soon.
Yeah,
So-
I've been to Greece, but it was a very long time ago. But
is it?
beautiful. Do you know where in Greece you want to go?
Santorini.
Okay, like
It's
the
one
islands.
place.
Yeah.
It's one place we want to visit, but
Do the islands. I mean, the whole Mediterranean is so beautiful.
Yes, I just, I'm drop dead, always waiting, can't wait to go there because it's just the imagery that they show. But real quick, now it makes sense, like your amazing reels and all of that. That's where all of that comes from. That's pretty cool.
Oh, my background, you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I've always like had the creative bug, and like I feel like doing these like stupid TikToks and reels is such a good outlet for me.
They
'Cause
are, though.
If I have nothing creative to do, I do get like sad. So I do have a lot of fun with that.
Well, I think you have actually brought so much to the fitness industry. And, you know, I always look out to see what people I can bring to the show that would bring motivation, inspiration, and especially women, you know, because a lot of women just, you know, unfortunately, they feel that they can't and they just stop in their tracks. So, you know, we're all about empowering women and just letting anybody know, follow your dreams. I mean, look at this. She's happy, very happy with what she does now. So did you have any questions maybe that I probably forgot to ask?
Not really. Just especially with the fitness industry, I think the biggest thing that people fail to see is conquering their own mind. Whether it's competing, whether it's lifting, whether it's anything. Like one of our new passions is actually jiu-jitsu. And that has been one of the hardest things to conquer mentally, because you're getting in there and physically fighting another human being to see who's going to win. But that's just part of life. To me, it's like you're not living if you're not conquering your mind first, to push yourself to do things that you feel uncomfortable doing. So like our professor always says, be comfortable being uncomfortable. Get comfortable
100%.
Being uncomfortable.
That is so true for everything in life.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he actually just competed this past Saturday.
How'd you do?
I lost. I did. I got injured like the first minute. The guy was better than me. He had been doing it probably 4 times as long as I have. But it was a great experience. It's not going to stop me. I'm going to do it again. It's a learning curve. It's awesome. I loved it. I sweated so bad waiting to get on the mat. It was ridiculous.
nerves
Is this your first one?
Yes.
Oh, well, it's good that you lost then, because you gotta have room to improve. You know what I mean? Like, if you see bodybuilders, sometimes they win every show and then they get bored. They're like done with it. It's like, actually losing makes it more fun, because you want goals to work towards.
I agree. However, Adrian, our oldest, he ended up placing second.
Nice.
It was his first match as well. And Xavier, the youngest, he won first place.
You guys are all doing it together.
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I didn't compete, but God willing, I plan to compete for the first time in January.
Good luck.
Girl, listen,
So cool.
it's such an adrenaline rush.
I can imagine.
I mean, it is insane. So when he's talking about like really being uncomfortable, it's like you're literally fighting for your life.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like, yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah, it is, but it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're just adrenaline junkies.
And
really
it
what
brings a
is.
whole different aspect to fitness as well, because you can tell the people that aren't active at all.
Yeah.
So they run out of breath in like 30 seconds, and you're like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's all you got? So it's great to see, even stepping in there, that we had at least one up on some of the people.
Right,
beginners.
But let me tell you, it's nothing. Technique,
there's a lot
it's
to
the
learn.
same thing, you know,
Yeah.
with bodybuilding and CrossFit, you got to get the technique to reach those
Oh, yeah.
numbers.
Yeah.
So, so Sarah, please feel free to share your handles. How can people reach you?
Yeah, so I'm TikTok, Instagram, Pinterest, everything. I'm at Sara Herse. So that's SarahHerse. And my app is, it's linked in my bio, but it's sarahersefitness.app. So that's how you can find it.
Awesome. So is there anything else that you'd like to share that perhaps we didn't ask?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I'm happy to be here. I think
Thank
you said so many nice things about me, but you too are very much an inspiration. I think it's great what you're doing here and inspiring women.
It. Thank you so much. Thank you. And our motto, guys, is iron sharpens iron.
Iron sharpens iron.
So, we believe everybody brings, their specialties, their blessings, their talents to the table. And our goal eventually is to let everybody know that you have a talent, so let it shine. And here we are, trying to help everybody. Like we always say, we may not be the people for you, but listen, we've got so many people that we can bring to you. The goal is to get you active, healthy, and fit. Right?
I love that.
Yes. Awesome. Well, thank you guys again. Be sure to check us out on Strength and Pain Fitness. That is LLC for Facebook, and Strength and Pain Fitness and Instagram, right?
Yep.
And on our podcast, it's SIP Warriors.
Yep. So follow along. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you for
so
having
And
me.
giving a little light, especially for the females out there that are on the fence. So thank you once again.
Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a blessed day, guys.
Bye.